Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Ali. Thank you so much for that. For those who want to request pretty much any other type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, or anything random like this, or anything in between, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Now, he sent me this article from Vulture, and I thought this was interesting because you look at this painting and you look at this inside Randall Emmett's direct-to-video empire, where many Hollywood stars have found lucrative early retirement. And you see over here, you got, this is Randall Emmett right here. And you see Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, Nick Cage, John Travolta, and Steven Seagal and his three chins. I'll go through the article. Yeah, I'll read it. It's the least I can do. If he's going to take the time and money, yeah, I'll do it. I mean, I apologize, it's not much interesting to see other than words, but I'll do my best. On Wednesday, January 13th, Randall Emmett presided over a crime scene near one of America's few tropical rainforests in Puerto Rico. Robert De Niro, dressed as a small-town Georgia sheriff, emerged from a sun-faded mobile home and walked solemnly past a black van marked coroner, looking like a man uneasy about the ordeal ahead of him. In Wash Me in the River, the film Emmett had just started shooting, that ordeal was to pursue a recovering opiate addict exacting revenge on the drug dealers he holds responsible for his fiance's death. Off-camera, De Niro's ordeal was no less daunting. Somehow, the great actor had to keep Hollywood's worst filmmaker from ruining the movie they set out to make together. Randall Emmett, who is 50, has directed just one other film. But as a producer, his credits include more than 110 movies, which have grossed over $1 billion, most of them bad enough to require a category all their own. Some of the films he's produced: the 2006 remake of The Wicker Man, 88 Minutes with Al Pacino, Survive the Night with Bruce Willis, Mercenary for Justice, Steven Seagal, Backtrace with Sylvester Stallone. Stallone and Matthew Modine together for one of cinema's most improbable partnerships. Apparently John Malkovich is also in this film with Robert De Niro, Wash Me in the River, which that's a shitty title. What kind of title is that for a movie? Wash Me in the River. What's this? The sequel, Wash My Ass in the Bathtub? Is the third film Wash My Balls in the Stream? Or Wash My Balls in the Ocean? There you go. River. The prequel will be Wash My Ass in the Bathtub, and then the sequel will be Wash My Balls in the Ocean. Wash Me in the River. Watch me not see your fucking movie. How about that? But over a career spanning more than 2 decades, Emmett has made a fortune producing bad movies. He has done so while pissing off investors, directors, and screenwriters. He's done all that as well as misleading audiences, and it hardly matters in Hollywood, where feature films have become increasingly difficult to finance and box office receipts recently approached a 40-year low. Yeah, it's understandable in today's age. He accepts money from just about anyone willing to hand it over, offer vast sums of it to an aging star for a day or two of work, leverage that actor's name to pre-sell the movie in foreign markets, along the way forego union writers and directors whenever possible, keep shooting days to a minimum, and film a location where the local government offers filmmakers tax credits that could be sold on the open market for 90 cents on the dollar. Well, yeah, I mean, I've said that before with these direct-to-video films, is that they get these actors maybe more than a day or two. It's 3 days, a week at most, just enough to sell their name on the cover, put them in a trailer for a minute or two. Like a minute or two long trailer, they appear a couple times. Oh shit, they must be the star. No, they're in it for like 10 minutes, but It's enough to sell it, and foreign markets have always been a big stature for action heroes. Even in the 90s, when Stallone and Schwarzenegger, their films were not doing the best, but they could count on the overseas market to help their movies either make back the budget or make a profit. That's why you go to a lot of these foreign markets and they go, yeah, we want to see the next action hero. Because action can overlook a language barrier. Because everyone can understand a punch. Everyone can understand a fist. Everyone can understand a gun, explosions, shooting. I think that's one of the many reasons why action films become very popular in the foreign market. But getting back to here, apparently this guy Emmett wanted to rub shoulders with Martin Scorsese. He begged Marty for a script that he couldn't get financed so that he could finance it for him. That film turned out to be Silence, which had language in development for decades before Emmett helped Scorsese find some of the money that finally got it made. Emmett leveraged his deal with Scorsese to earn a non-PGA producer credit for The Irishman, but it did not earn him the respect of his peers. So who is Emmett? He was Mark Wahlberg's former personal assistant, the hard partying hanger-on who helped inspire the character Turtle on HBO's Entourage. Mark Wahlberg's personal assistant? So he failed upwards, I guess. He was in something called Vanderpump Rules, a reality TV program. I never even heard of that show. Many view him with suspicion, including unions like the Writers Guild of America, which placed his production company, EFO Films, on his strike list, citing his failure to comply with an arbitration award amounting to $524,000. 6 other residual claims against the company are pending. EFO has not been reliable or financially responsible with their WGA payment obligations. Pretty much, hey, we want to make these films cheap, find a way to skirt the issue. Even Emmett's own partners, Oasis Ventures Entertainment, the O and EFO, have accused him in a lawsuit of attempting to steal assets, including the rights to films like Escape Plan 3, alleging that he failed to consult them on dealings related to Moviepass Films, a co-venture with the now bankrupt subscription-based ticketing service that produced a handful of films, including Gotti with John Travolta, that is one of only a few movies ever to hold an approval rating of 0% on website Rotten Tomatoes. John Travolta's Gotti is bad. It's bad. But, I mean, there's a lot more movies that deserve a 0% Rotten Tomatoes. Escape Plan 3 is a piece of shit. No matter who the fuck has it. And Moviepass, God, I forgot about Moviepass. Moviepass seems like it's been years, hasn't it? Moviepass, remember? I never used Moviepass, but I know my friend Michael CP did, and others did. Man, that was... It's weird, like, Moviepass wasn't that long ago. That's crazy. Pretty much it goes into this new film he's directing, Wash Me in the River. For decades, Scorsese's approach to balancing personal expression, commercial imperatives in Hollywood has been associated with 6 words that the director may never actually used himself. One for them, one for me. Do commercial pictures like The Color of Money and Goodfellas, then get the right to make Kundun and The Last Temptation of Christ. These days that formula is outdated, a luxury even for someone like Scorsese. It's Emmett's career that is a better indication of Hollywood's current math. Instead of one for them, a single good movie exists on the backs of massive comic book franchises and a list well of cheap, schlocky action flicks bad enough to make Michael Bay seem like David Lean. Here's some of Randall Emmett's canon films that he produced. Out for a Kill, Today You Die. I reviewed these. I've reviewed pretty much every Steven Seagal film. I love his early work. His direct-to-video work. I'll Give You Urban Justice. I liked that. Pistol Whipped. I liked that. The one where he goes to China, Hong Kong. I forgot what the hell that was called now. Into the Sun. Into the Sun was alright. But then Sniper Special Ops, Attack Force, Kill Switch, these movies, a lot of awful shit. Today You Die, that film stole scenes from, it stole it from a Peter Weller film called Top of the World. I think it even stole scenes from Van Damme's The Order. And Out for a Kill, that gun is never in the movie. With the grenade launcher, that's never in the movie. I've never even seen that poster before for Out for a Kill. That's a new one on me. Yeah, these are awful. Mercenary for Justice, Gun with 50 Cent. I look at Val Kilmer. I mean, hey, you remember me? I used to be in this film called Heat. Setup. Bruce Willis. Even his face looks bored. He just... You want to see Extraction? Go watch the one with Chris Hemsworth. Not this one. I forgot Gina Carano was in that. The shitty fucking movies. Like Bruce Willis he just doesn't care. He doesn't care. This is the writer speaking. I first heard of Emmett last September while speaking with Adam Champ, an executive at Darrow Film Distribution in Monaco. From his office, Champ explained an inglorious but profitable slice of the film industry is built around a certain category of actor, the kind of action stars and lead men who once ruled Hollywood and now make very good money appearing in very bad movies, most of them relegated to streaming services, video on demand, and late-night TV in Europe and South America. John Travolta, Nick Cage, Sylvester Stallone. Well, Nick Cage, at least he has a couple good movies. I really like Willy's Wonderland. I like Mandy. Color Out of Space, I didn't mind. Perched atop the heap is Bruce Willis. Well, I would go with Steven Seagal, but Bruce Willis is a second. By this, Bruce Willis' prolific partnership with EFO Films, one of the biggest players in this niche of the industry, results in as many as 4 or 5 movies a year with Bruce Willis. With Bruce Willis, there's almost a model for how he features in these movies. One of my clients calls it a Deezer teaser. You have Bruce Willis at the intro of the movie. People are like, great, this is a Bruce Willis movie. But he's a secondary character who shows up sporadically. In most of his films, sporadic would be a generous appraisal of his presence. 7 minutes of screen time in Hard Kill. Extraction, 9 minutes on screen. Survive the Night, almost 10 minutes. Even if they aren't his best minutes. Nothing to sell them except for the artwork on the box and maybe an action-packed trailer. They mentioned Canon Films, mentioned Avi Lerner, because by the mid-'80s, Canon was doing business with Avi Lerner, owner of South Africa's new Metro movie theater chain. Avi Lerner started his own film production, New Metro Entertainment. He was a producer of American Ninja 3, River of Death. In 1992, he moved to LA, produced low-budget films like Free Fall, meant to capitalize on Cliffhanger, as well as Shark Attack. Apparently, Avi Lerner is obsessed with shark movies, low-budget versions of Spielberg films, but with no-name actors. His ultimate ambition was to bring Hollywood's biggest action stars to Eastern Europe. Expendables 2, London Has Fallen. Set up a new production company, Millennium Films. To court them, Lerner relied on Randall Emmett. There you go, going back to Randall Emmett, this guy. The producer of Today You Die and Survive the Night and all. If you throw Randy Emmett out the door, he comes in the window. If you throw him from the window, he comes down the chimney. I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised. I mean, you knew shady dealings are going. When you see enough of these movies, you know there's an assembly line of the way they're doing it. Again and again and again. So none of this really surprises me. Let me check real quick on something. Pretty much goes into where he grew up. I don't care where Emmett grew up. Got with a guy named Oblowitz. When the opportunity to work with Seagal came along, Steven Seagal, he was happy to make a living wage directing a feature film. Oblowitz also enjoyed the surreal perks that came with the job, such as working with crews who have made movies with Tarlovsky. There was a time he dined with Seagal at Vladimir Putin in Warsaw. There you go, those Putin things. Oblowitz says, at one time, Steven Seagal halted production on The Foreigner so that the Buddhist monks from Nepal could perform a ceremony to determine whether the production would go forward. The ceremony, called a puja, was held at Seagal's mansion in LA, where he summoned Oblowitz and various producers, studio executives, agents, and managers. Millions had been spent just to get us to where we are, and now our superstar is informing us that the fate of the production a week out from beginning is going to be decided by a bunch of Buddhist monks in Seagal's lounge in Maudeville Canyon. Now I'm really understanding the Seagal that everybody talks about and complains about. And damn, Seagal just decided to fuck with my webcam. Doesn't want me talking shit about him. Sorry. Seagal's attorney looks at me with this look of absolute fucking horror on his face, and I'm jet lagged out of my brain, and on the wall is this gigantic painting. In the painting, Seagal was seated on a gold throne in the Himalayas, surrounded by monks in purple robes. There are 15 of these Buddhist monks, all dressed in their purple robes, and their shaved heads and their sandals, and they just flown in from Tibet or somewhere on one of these 25-hour flights. After hours of chanting, Oblowitz says, the monks extinguished their burning sage and communicated something to Seagal, who then lit a cigar and declared that The Foreigner could resume production. The monks fucked up. They should have said no, because then I wouldn't have had to fucking sit down and watch The Foreigner. This is one of Seagal's worst. Oh my god, what the fuck? And I buy it with Seagal's dumbass. I buy it. Another issue was Seagal's insistence on extensive script rewrites. Steven decided he wanted to be an archaeologist. I went, Steven, please, you can't be a fucking archaeologist. No one wants to see an archaeologist Steven Seagal. I wanted to track down... Supposed to track down drug dealers and avenge your murdered wife, like a Sam Peckinpah or John Ford movie. But, you know, he wanted to show his sublime knowledge of Chinese antiquities. Was that for Out for a Kill? I don't think that's The Foreigner. Well, yeah, that's probably another, yeah, Out for a Kill. So that's why he was an archaeologist, because Seagal wanted to be, so rewrite it. When Emmett reached out for a proposal for a direct-to-video Seagal picture with Millennium Films, Emmett's pitch was that Seagal would love working in Bulgaria, where the girls are pretty and we all know the model agents. Emmett's timing was excellent. Franchise Pictures, which had bankrolled The Foreigner, was the target of a federal criminal investigation by the time Oblowitz began editing the film. The person who ran Franchise Pictures was eventually found liable for $77 million in damages for inflating the budgets of films like Battlefield Earth. Oblowitz and Seagal agreed to let Emmett and Avi Lerner produce the next project, and that was Out for a Kill. So there you go. That movie cost $20 million? Oblowitz says, I invented the formula. What I did with Steven, with The Foreigner, and Out for a Kill was the formula that everybody uses today to get an aging, overweight action star in and out as fast as possible. And it created a template whereby you could cut him through the movie. Seagal still had box office clout. If he wanted to show up to work late, leave early, spend less time shooting action scenes, Oblowitz would have no choice but to accommodate him, which meant extensive storyboarding, creative fight coordinators, and strategic use of stunt doubles. That model is now being used with all these aging action stars, like Bruce Willis. They're all doing what Seagal did. Of course, Steven fucking Seagal. Now, I actually like this film, Heist. This is actually a decent movie. Because Jeffrey D. Morgan actually cared, and the director had a nice handling of the action scenes, just as the guy who directed The Tournament. Heist is a decent movie. I would not, I mean, if they produce it, okay, that's one of their better movies. So, I'll give credit to Heist. That's worth a look. Just a boring title they put on it. But this stuff like Bat Trace, one of Stallone's worst, Survive the Night, Hard Kill, piece of shit. I think I reviewed Hard Kill. Did I review Hard Kill? And I know, like, God is shining a fucking flashlight on me because of Steven Seagal. So, I don't know why God's like shining a flashlight on me. Fucking Steven Seagal. Get the fuck out of my face. Steven Seagal doesn't want me fucking talk. He's as big as the fucking sun, so it probably is him. Steven Seagal. I know you're as fast as the fucking sun. Leave me the fuck alone. You douchebag. Steven, fuck. Fuck you, Steven. God damn it. It wasn't like this before. Fucking Steven Seagal, stop! Fuck it, put it over here. Fuck it. There we go. Steven fucking Seagal. Let's see. After the success of Out for a Kill, Seagal made 4 or 5 direct-to-DVD movies in a single year. When the DVD market collapsed, budgets got smaller and margins slimmer. Major Hollywood studios had less appetite for such films. Emmett and Furla took advantage of some of those. In 2010, they produced 3 pictures, including Gun with 50 Cent. Then Emmett secured $525 million from Remington Chase and Stepan, who made their fortune in the oil business in Russia. Both men had convictions related to cocaine trafficking. Oh my god. People are shocked that Randall Emmett is alive because he deals with these guys. Oh, Emmett also produced Speed Kills with John Travolta, using investors' money on unrelated business ventures, including Bridgegate Pictures Corporation and other undertakings. So remember, he pals with all these famous people, pays them money to do bullshit. my god. Dan Bilzerian, the social media influencer who spun his trust fund into celebrity as a gun-toting, poker-playing, bikini-clad model-dating Instagram star, sued EFO in 2013 saying it failed to give him the full 8 minutes of screen time he'd been promised in exchange for his $1 billion investment in Lone Survivor. He dropped the suit and they gave him a part in Extraction with Bruce Willis. Oh my god. Executives at the distributor wondered whether the reliable margins the company made in EFO pictures were worth the tarnish to its overall brand. They were unhappy with the films they were getting from Randall's slate. It got to a point where it was almost like an axe over the head of the output deal. Oh, Heist. I called Scott to discuss his experience directing the film. He told me he felt pressure from Emmett to persuade De Niro to go forward despite some misgivings over the script. In the end, the two men discussed these issues and spent several days working on revisions at De Niro's offices in Tribeca. After extensive rewrites, the director was told that his shooting schedule would be cut from 25 days to 20. By the time filming got underway, he cut it down to 17. As one reviewer put it, Scott Mann works his keister off to turn beef jerky into chowder brand. Heist was much better than his distributors had come to expect from EFO. Helped keep Emmett's output deal alive. So even they admit. So, wow. That director had 17 days to do that film. Because Emmett kept cutting it because he's a fucking asshole. Fuck this Emmett guy. He's a fucking dick. 17 days. I'm surprised it's not just 17 hours and 17 minutes. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking over it, so... And I'm pretty much going into... the Wash Me in the River film. And some film called Out of Death. I guess that was Emmett's first movie. The first week of shooting, safety protocols, what's going on. Bruce Willis is supposed to be a forest ranger, come to the aid of a witness to a murder during a hiking excursion. Oh no, Mike Burns was shooting it. Emmett, longtime music supervisor Mike Burns. Okay, so it was Mike Burns' first film. Music supervisor. Bruce was left with just 9 days to shoot, an impossible feat for even a seasoned director. Willis, who was originally slated for 2 days of filming, had a hard out, which meant that all his scenes would need to be shot in a single day. This was trial by fire. There's a bullying kind of exploitive nature to some of the directors involved in the Bruce Willis movies. Days keep getting cut down to such an extreme extent that there's no way to make a good movie, and ultimately that's going to fall on the director and the talent involved. Man. So in other words, now that Steven Seagal has stopped putting his fat ass flashlight on me, dirty D's done dirt cheap. 'Tis of Randall Emmett here. Pretty much making these films, producing these films at such a shipshod shape, cutting more and more days, ponying up, sucking up to people, going, hey, we'll do this, we'll do that, and just to get it out, doesn't matter if they're good or bad, hey, we sold it, got you for a couple days, boom, we made our money, and keep going. This is a guy that doesn't care about the craft, doesn't care about how good it is, just steam to and these actors, they do it because, hey, I did the work a couple days, I did a good chunk of change. Why? That's why they do it. So yeah, what a waste of. Can't say I'm surprised with the way some of these films are. Most of these films are, and that's just a little backstory as to why they came to be. I don't know why the fuck anyone would want to work with EFO again, these directors. I guess because they'll hire us because no one else will do it, and either get a job or zero jobs. I'm guessing that's why. But I'm like, okay, but you're making films that people think are pieces of shit because there's no way to do a script, there's no way to do an action scene. I mean, like Scott Mann, the fact he had 17 days to do it and they kept cutting, gives even more credit to that director for the way that film was done. And Steven Seagal, that whole thing about the foreigner and we will commence shooting and we will shoot it if these Buddhists say yes. Just more I hear about Steven Seagal, the more I hate him. I hate him. It is fucking fuck Steven Seagal. God damn it. With this said, we'll see you guys later. I don't know what else to say. Randall Emmett, fuck you, you scumbag. See you guys later. Bye-bye.